Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2023 Big Arm Challenge put on by the Desert Flyers. We're at the Vista del Camino Park playing in an XXL layout. We've got a great lead card for you, including Miranda, Max Nichols, along with Parker Welck, and rounding out the card, Jordan Castro. He's ready to get after it. As I said, this is the second and final round that they'll be playing. It's a beautiful Sunday afternoon here in mid-December, and the action is coming at you. Hole 1 is the only hole that changes position for this round compared to what we saw yesterday. This is in a shorter pin, but just shy of 300 feet. Of course, very close here to the water's edge. And it should move things along a little bit quicker, not only for the groups, but just overall for the tournament. However, it may bring the water more into play. Here's Miranda. And he's not messing at all with that short water's edge. There is an element of just safety and just throwing it over, taking your par, and moving on. Max, not overly aggressive either. Clearing it easily and really nowhere near the pin. Parker Welck, who shot the 5 under. You saw that during the first round. Well, spoiler. I don't know if it's a spoiler, if it's the second round, but maybe. Either way, Parker, so far closest to the pin. Not quite as close as the Heron there. And Jordan Castro, who I know has had some involvement in helping with this tournament over the years. I don't think Jordan's as involved here in the 2023 version, but good to see him on some coverage. Andrew, basic layup, and understandably so. I would expect to see the same out of Max here, and really never getting that one up in the air at all, and you don't blame him. And you're now hearing a little bit of wind. Relatively calm during round 1. And Parker... That was a run. Says that was a run. And from even closer territory, Castro says he doesn't want any part of it. Live another day. He goes on to say he'll live another day, and that's some pretty good advice. Hole 1 doesn't play as easy as I thought it would. And when it was all said and done, if we take a look at some of the stats, we'll see that hole 1 actually averaged over par, 3.19. So for a relatively short hole, interesting to see it play over par. Hole 2, 649 feet. This is pretty close to what you'd see in a traditional Memorial or Shelley Sharp layout. Sometimes we'll have a basket elevated. Sometimes we'll have some OB. Typically we'd have OB, and then also a Mando usually will come into play. In fact, multiple Mandos, but that's not going to be the case here today. So I think they'll be a little bit more liberal with how aggressive they want to be. And that is not the basket we're playing to here. In fact, I kind of pan over. It's way down there. Max Nichols, who's moved to the area. Knew Max quite a few years ago, or had first got to know him. I know he was living in Arizona. And Parker throws that one right into the ground. Going to cut roll on him immediately. Again, no threat of out of bounds or any true danger there, but he's got a lot of ground to cover on a 650-foot hole. That one rolls around, and then eventually see the basket pretty much straight away. And Parker pushes off to the left side. I don't think that's going to be enough distance to put him in long-range putting territory, or if it is a putt, it's going to be from long range.
That wind made him perfect. You don't like it, but it looked good.
You hear Max talking about how the wind kind of aided that. Castro goes with a pretty routine-looking forehand. And although that tree was blocking it, he's going to be well inside the circle. Looks like a relatively easy putt for Castro coming up. So he isn't quite as far as you would think maybe, but he didn't have a good angle on it. So that's going to be a layup for Parker. As you saw, the scores during round one, Andrew, hottest of all the players at 6 under. And then there was actually quite a huge tie at second at the 5 unders. As Max is in for birdie. Jordan goes through the motions and make sure he captures the birdie. And just like that, we'll see 3 out of 4 picking up birdies on hole 2. Hole 2 played as the 4th easiest hole on the course. I would think this would be one of the easiest. Hole number 3, just 285 feet. If you have any type of just manageable or serviceable forehand, it should be enough for you. You can essentially want to throw a forehand pretty much dead straight and then just let it finish at the end. And then it'll play into the hillside. Nice and low for Miranda. And really that easy. See? I mean, I don't know what else there is to say to that. Making it look pretty easy here. And Castro puts some ante on it out of his hand and connects with the one tree he needs to beat. And let's see if Parker can take advantage, and he does. So Parker on the dance floor, trying to get really on the board here. Big thanks to our buddy Rick. Not only did he graciously host me and a number of other golfers throughout the weekend, but also joined us in round one's commentary. And it seems as if he was very well received. And we got to love that. Maybe we'll see if I can talk Rick into a few more events when I'm out in Arizona. Oh, bag on. That's when you know it's close. So Max with the back-to-back birdies. Big shout out to our friends at Idio. Trying to give away a free pair of shoes this weekend. I think that's the plan. We'll figure that one out. But here we are on 4, 770 feet. Kind of a unique combo hole in a sense. Playing from way back up to this pin on the high right side. And if you're confused by where some of the pins are, or if you were at Vista 2 weeks ago, or you're there 2 months from now, there's a bunch of different pin positions for the standard 18-hole course. And then they have what they call the XL layout. Then we have the XXL layout. There's just a lot of variety and a lot of options out there. So if you're confused, it's understandable. This par 4 is going to play about a quarter of a stroke over par, which I got to admit, somewhat surprising. And that's going to be way off to the left-hand side for Parker. plenty of variety of options on a tee like hole 4 here. Backhand rollers, forehands, just straight up air shots, a little bit of everything. Parker, does he have a full flex? Wow, gets around it. So he's going to have an uphill putt. He's going to have to think about it, though. You go after that putt, you draw any metal, the chances of it rolling back down the hill on you are pretty good. We've seen that plenty. One tree to beat, and Max doesn't get past it. Is this too straight for Castro? Well, he'll be on the flat spot, so again, maybe a long bit at best. That's if he even wants to go after it. Sometimes you'll see a lot of players on these hillsides purposely miss a foot or two left or right of the pin. They just don't even want to possibly draw metal. So you can understand if one of them goes with that form of layup. Nicely done. Andrew doesn't connect there. If we can give you guys a little more info and background as these guys were coming into this event. Castro's up and over. He comes in with a 989 rating. Parker here, 1016 rated. Ring it up. Parker trying to make up for the miss birdie back on 2. And Parker will remain 1 behind our leader right now in Miranda. Max, close range, gonna make sure of it for his par. Max comes into the event with a 977 rating. Opening round when he shot the 5 under, that was actually rated 1032. We head over to hole 5, 443 feet. We saw a big bomb off to the right-hand side. That was the only way that anyone in round 1 was able to connect, and that was after AB hit these branches and essentially dropped right next to the tree, and then he made about a 35-footer. I'm going to call this one a little bit of a bonus. See if they can prove me wrong, make it look easy. Oh, okay. Similar territory to where we saw Barella in round 1. That looks like layup territory. Max going to be in a similar position. It's just so easy to bring that left side sidewalk into play. Whether it's with an errant shot that skips all the way down. Oh, let me get out of the way there, Castro. See, even this, what a big shot. Flirts with the right side sidewalk. Almost hitting me. Then it goes all the way down and just barely curls up in time to stay in bounds. So he will have a look for birdie. Short range pitch for Miranda. And Castro had skipped down far enough that he didn't want any part of it. Parker with an opportunity, and he's going to take it. Solid back-to-back birdie putts on 4 and 5. Hole 5 here played at 3.71. So nearly 3/4 of a stroke over par. Big shout out to our friends over at the Distinguished Doodle. Make sure you check them out. In fact, an Arizona-based company constantly supporting my video coverage. And if you want the best for your dog, make sure you head over to the Distinguished Doodle's website. There's a link in the description. Hole 6, just 242 feet, kind of a postage stamp green. You'd think I'd edit that, but we're all human. Nice drive there by Parker. Any shots that go out of bounds go to a drop zone, regardless of where they may have hit or not. Not good for Miranda. So possibly a significant momentum shift here. Andrew's going to the drop zone. Parker's got a birdie look. Max trying to put some pressure on as well. Oh, and it just skips out. It's exactly what we saw by Barella. Does Castro have the right speed? Yes, he does. Great shot by Castro. Now Miranda to try and save par. So double OB. Now Nichols steps up. He doesn't draw any metal, and he lands practically where his drive had initially gone. So both of these guys bleeding some strokes here. And so double bogey as well for Nichols. Significant momentum shift here. A 3-stroke swing between Parker and Andrew. Meanwhile, Jordan Castro is going to move to 7 under with the birdie. We head to hole number 7. It's going to play to this basket just inside of the water line by only about 20, maybe 25 feet. I don't even think it's 25 feet. I'm going to say only by a little more than 20 feet at best. So you have to be careful, be really respectful of this short grass on the right side. We saw a big skip coming from a couple of the players during round 1, but there's also a lot more wind at the time. See the flags, not doing too much up there. Jordan's going to come up short. We'll see how aggressive he wants to be. And seeing those reeds up so high, I know we talked about it in round 1, but just feels different for this shot. We're used to seeing this hole in particular around the Memorial time. And you can see everything clean and, oh, just catching the edge. What a shot.
Well committed.
Castro called it well committed. We've seen a couple of big putts by Welck. Does he have another? Not here on 7. So Parker going to slow down that birdie train, but we've talked about it. The front 9 playing a little easier than the back, or considerably easier. So racking up some birdies here in the front and then just kind of maintaining or holding on to them in the back is the way to go, especially with the winds that have been variable here. Kind of hear the wind ripping around right now. Big putt by Castro. Miranda with a chance to get a stroke back on Welck. And he'll do just that. After that double bogey a moment ago, Max has fallen back to even on the round. And even on the short ones, not taking anything for granted. So he'll pick up the birdie. And I guess kind of like hole 2, everybody birdies except for Welck. He's still currently the leader. Big thanks to our friends over at Zing Mini. Got some beautiful flapjacks. That's not a euphemism for anything. They are minis. Super flat, perfectly sized, and they're called flapjacks. Got some Koh Samui stamped ones along with some Disc Golf Guy ones. I think those are going to have to be part of some of the giveaways that I'm working on. Like, share, subscribe, do all the YouTube things, as I always ask you to do. Maybe consider supporting me via Patreon. As we step up to hole 8, playing as the second easiest hole on the course, averaging just 3.5 as a par 4. Well, okay, a little wildlife. Got the dog going across the fairway. Just a little retrieval action. Yes. Okay, so we're getting a free dog show here too. A few extra tricks. So that flexes out and is going to land basically on the tee of hole number, well, traditionally what we'd say is hole number 3, as we're playing this from 1 to 2. Max first to act on the approach. I think I'd make most of those from there. Castro, can he get a skip in for eagle? No, he'll have to just settle for an easy birdie. And I said it during the first round, I love being off on this left-hand side. It gives you a chance to possibly have a little backstop. Your angle at the basket's probably going to be wider. And Andrew's finding kind of that same territory where Barella was. Sure, he had big distance off to the right side, but not a real clean look at the basket. Those trees come into play. So I love the play by Parker there to push himself out to that far left side. And this card doing their job of bringing the average down here. Like I said, played at just 3.5. Second easiest hole on the course. And the easiest hole that they're going to play all day comes up in just 2 more holes. It kicks off our back 9 when we see hole number 10, the par 5. Do I even have to tell you guys to come to Thailand? I mean, if that's not a given, I don't know what is. But Koh Samui and the Samui Swine all taking place usually in late January, early February. And it's going to be just the case as well in 2024. And as of today's recording, there's still some spots available, but not many. So get the plane ticket. We'll see you in Thailand. Multiple events going on in Thailand, but the one in Samui is kind of one of the big ones that kicked everything off. Oh, and Andrew caught up early. So I guess that's the question for you guys. I need you to, comment, like, share, subscribe, do all that stuff. But the question you need to answer, do you either currently or wish to go to some other climate during the off season? Maybe it's to a more mild climate. Maybe you entirely, pull a Kale Laviska and you go from Minnesota down to Charleston, South Carolina, or maybe you go to Arizona like so many others have been doing. That's what I need to know is, are you currently doing that, or is that kind of in the plans to head to a warmer destination, or is that something you just simply don't care about right now. Maybe you're up in the tundra of Wisconsin or Minnesota or Michigan. Oh, and just barely in bounds. Comes back. Big flax here. Wow, getting all of it. Still a long way to the pin. Not necessarily putting him in birdie territory, but trying to make the best of it from that right side. And big mistake here for Nichols. Keep in mind, anytime you're within a meter of OB, you can pull yourself away from that up to 1 meter. And that's exactly what Jordan did, pulling himself away from the wall. But he still is thinking about it in his backswing, possibly wrapping his knuckles or the back of his hand on that wall behind him. And Nichols finding that tree. So that's Miranda's third. I'm surprised to see this one not play a little bit lower as well. I really, it's sub 700 feet as a par 4, no Mandos. Max feeling like either he miscalculated or more so some wind wasn't doing what he thought it would. Good birdie putt for Castro. So a great battle we've got brewing here. Parker Welck seems to have plenty of momentum on his side. Andrew, I wasn't even thinking about that one, but Andrew trying to maintain. I also see Jordan keeping pace right there with Welck. Kind of keeping an eye on Chase Card. We've got another camera over there. Connor Rock, Anthony Barella doing some work as well. I guarantee we're going to have an exciting back nine, so make sure you come on back. I think you'd be silly. If you've watched 27 holes and aren't here for this, I don't know what you're doing. But we'll see you in the back nine. You're watching the 2023 Big Arm Challenge presented by the Desert Flyers. Like, share, subscribe. We'll see you there.